Hobbies and Hyperfocus. This is Flosstube, which is a channel about cross stitch or other needlework. My name is Pam. My pronouns are she, her, and I live in Treaty 6 territory in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And today I have Princess, who has decided that I look like I'm working, so she's got to get up here and assume the position. Okay, so it has been probably a month since I videotaped. I don't know why I find it so weird to videotape. It's like probably just because I have to look at myself. If I didn't have to look at myself, I could babble all day long, but I need to look at myself so I can see what I'm showing. And so today is December 15th? 15th? Yes, December 15th, 2024. I'll probably have the timestamp down here because that's where it puts it. As you can see, my office is still a big mess. Things get tossed down here until I can deal with them upstairs. And with Christmas coming, stuff just gets stuck down here. Well, Princess is going to be annoyed with me. So I haven't been doing a huge amount of stitching. Oh, let's start with the tarot card. I decided I was going to use the cat tarot card because I hardly ever use it and they're so cute. So today's card is the Nine of Pentacles or the Nine of Treats. So it's a little kitty who's got all the treats and a bird and looks like she's going to knock shit off the top of that dresser because of course she will. She's cat. Okay, and from the Little Book of Wonders, cat tarot book, peace and satisfaction abound. Is it possible you have everything you ever dreamed of? And because we have it in the upright position today, your diligence means your rewards are great and many. Treats at your feet, a fine feathered friend just a swipe away. You're right to feel secure and to take pride in your accomplishments. All of your discipline is bringing you even greater success than you'd ever dared hope. Not sure about that. I think last time, I don't know if I finished my yearly performance review before I did my Flosstube last time. It went well. It always does. I've been with the company now 11 years, and I currently have technically 2 people under me. So I'm in the position where I'm now learning to manage people. Not doing a great job because I just don't seem to be able to do it all the time. I'm coming down with something, and it's December. But no, like I have a degree in production and operations management. I can manage projects, I can manage objects, I can manage databases, but people, I don't I don't know. Um my first assistant person is now my analyst and she's on maternity leave, and we have another assistant in our department, and managing him has just been a huge challenge this year. Um, I'm not sure if it's because we come from completely different generations and different expectations, but it's it's like anytime you do something and you think it's worked or you think you've been clear, 2 or 3 weeks later you hear, oh well, I was super offended at that. I'm like, then say when you are. Like, I don't get this waiting on things. But I need to start doing management classes and that kind of stuff. And I don't know, because I don't know if there's anywhere else I can, like, any more growth in that company. But I've been there for 10 years, 11 years now, so I don't know what it would be like to leave. I'd have to start over again. So there is that. And now I'm just babbling because I don't know what to say. Okay, so what have I been working on? Because that's really the reason that I'm here. Um, Not much. The last time I did a floss tube, I was doing a bunch of things. I was rolling the dice and doing the stuff, and yeah. Then I decided I was gonna bring out two new projects. I started two new projects. The week right after, like um, the day that I filmed, I went upstairs and I started two new projects. I'm gonna take it out of the queue snap because this, and I'm gonna have to lean forward so don't fall, kitty. Um, that my whiteboard here. This one I really screwed up, and I don't know if it's gonna work out. So this is Silver Hoof from the oh, might actually work, from Owl Forest Embroidered, and I'm doing it on a navy blue even weave. I think it's a 28 count because it's pretty big. And I was like, it's actually very, very long. And when I had it in the Q snap before, I was like, what I thought had happened is, if you can see, this piece of fabric is pretty long. I got a quarter meter of it, and I thought that I had put it in this way, so portrait, and then somewhere along the line I turned it, and now it's landscape. And this is a long pattern. And as I was doing it on the Q snap, I thought, because I kind of rolled up the Q snap to keep it tight, I thought I was going to run out of room, and I might not, because like this is the house. There's there's a border, and then there's snow, and there's a house, and then there's another border, and then there's snow, and then there's, I think, another reindeer or something. I'll put up the picture if I can right here. So looking at it now, it actually looks like I might have room to do it. But I was so concerned that I had turned my fabric. I didn't know what I was gonna do. And I was like, oh well, if it's turned and I don't have enough room, I can just go down to the bottom, like this kind of thing on the bottom here, like the border, and just finish at the border, the first border, instead of the bottom border. So I saw, who was it, Stitching Bunny doing this last year, and right after I saw her doing it, or them doing it, I went out and bought the piece. And this is the very first Owl Forest that I've actually stitched. I have probably about 25 or 35 patterns from Owl Forest. I've gotten a lot of their um, free patterns or no charge patterns, but um, this one I paid for. This is a paid put, and I think it comes in. This is the frost version, so like you can't really tell, but this is like a light blue. There's a light blue, there's a medium blue, and then there's white. So if you look, it really blows out on this. But this is a light blue, and this is a medium blue here. And I decided to do it on a dark blue fabric. rather than a light blue fabric. And the only reason that I decided to do it on the dark blue fabric is because I have the dark blue fabric. And right now, if you don't know, us Canadians are in the middle of a postal strike, and I don't have anywhere local to get fabric that is not Ada. I can get some Ada or Aida from the local knitting shop, but I don't actually like the feeling of Ada on my hands. Like it's it's not it's not a snobbery thing, I don't think. I think it's just I don't like the feeling of it. It's bumpy and I don't like the feeling of it. So I don't tend to stitch on it. And this one is the Yule Goddess. This is actually the first one I started after I went upstairs. I started this one immediately. Um, this, I do not know if she's going to fit. Again, this is all the fabric that I have. Um, can't get any Aida, or, well, I can get Aida. I'd have to dye it myself. It would be white. But this I had in stash. And it's actually a piece of, I think it's Be Stitch Me Yule wreath that Kim, who is Crafty Teachers DIYs, she was having a sale in, I think it was like February or March of this year. She was trying to destash some of her linen. She's in the United States and apparently has access to all these linens, and I was gonna buy it, and then I had already bought 2 pieces of fabric, and shipping and exchange and everything. It's just it stops me from buying a lot from the United States. But that's where I have to get linen, right? And so I had bought a piece of, I think one was tangerine and the other one was, I can't even remember. Like I bought 2 from her. And I was looking at this and she was like, "No, no, no. You've bought enough." Like exchange and shipping and all that stuff. And so she sold it to Megan, who's Plexicity, and from the long distance stitchers, one of the Megans. And Megan knew that I kind of was looking at this, and so she cut it in half, and she kept half, and I got half. So because it's a Yule themed um, fabric and a Yule themed pattern, I decided I was going to start it. And this is, I mean, again, I will put up here because this is, I will put it somewhere. I look at this and it's backwards to what I'm doing and my brain just can't flip it. So I will put up what she will look like. The model that they've stitched is on a much lighter green, but I like this more sprucey green. So, and yeah, again, Be Stitch Me, I think it's a 32 count. It might be a 36 count. Yule wreath. And it's modern, not modern, tiny modernist Yule Goddess. So I always start in the middle so that I don't run out of fabric. Or if I run out of fabric, at least I run out evenly on both sides. And I started at her flower and I'm going down the skirt. The skirt is massive and it's mostly this sort of orangey red with the dark red. And I'm really liking it. So I think today that's what I'm going to work on because I haven't worked on her for a week. I've been working on knitting, which I will get to. So those are my 2 new starts, and I am not going to get either of them done for Yule because I have 6 days next Saturday. I will not get it done for Yule, but now I have a Yule project, and oh, here's all the colors. And I've actually changed this color, which is 895. 895 is really, really similar to Yule Wreath. It's this one right here. So I kind of grabbed one of the DMC variegated. So I will use that as well, off and on and throughout the project, where it calls for 895. And I don't know why I brought the fabric or the colors down. Then I worked on two other pieces of needlework over the last month that were not those two. And then, so this one is, I have to take everything out of the Q-snap. I'm using Nerd Hoops. I do have a Q-snap down here too. I used to be, okay, I'm going to talk about this now because that's where my brain went. I used to be a 100% Q-snap person for years and years and years. But then they got really, 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 really hard to find here. So I'd have to order them from Amazon or 123 Stitch. My local uh, knitting store used to be able to carry them. And then I went in there one time and she's like, we can't order them anymore. We can't get them. We don't know why the store that we usually get them from, or we have been ordering them from for, I don't know, however long Q-snaps have been around. It's got to be the 90s because I was using a Q-snap in 91. So she's like, we can't get them anymore. We can't order them. They won't let us order them. They're out of stock. They won't carry them. So she stopped carrying them. I did buy one of the non-brand name ones from, I think I got it at Michael's. And they don't stay tight. So then I heard about Nerd Hoops. So I mostly use this size, and I've got, I think, 5 of them because I don't like to switch out Nerd Hoops. So this is what number is this one? Number 3. Number 3 Nerd Hoop, and I have, I think, 2 more of them upstairs. And then I have a number, I think 1, which is the big one. I have 2 of those. No, those are probably number 5. Number 1's the little one. I have one of those too. I don't do a lot of small projects, so I don't tend to have small needles or small frames. Oh, and now I've stuck my other things together. So yeah, I've been converted to a nerd person now, partially because they can keep them tight, and partially because they're available. I can get them off of Amazon. They come relatively quickly. They're light. They don't hurt my wrist, and yeah, like before that, before I used Q-snaps, I used what is called a handy stitcher. It is a, I have one upstairs because when I came back to cross stitch, I bought it, and it can be anywhere from this big, like it expands. So it's got these plastic, um, it's got plastic bars, and the bars have like an indent in them. It's really hard to explain, but you put your fabric on, and then it's got these little chips, and they're little round chips, and you push them into the bar, and it snaps them down. And then the bar can be anywhere from like small to like, I think 17 by 21 is the biggest it gets. And I used to love that for doing the fancy ladies because I could do the whole thing. But I never had like a thing, a clamp to clamp it into, so that I had to hold it. And it was very heavy. And it's very awkward because if you have it small, then it doesn't, the length of the bars do not change. So the length of the area holding it changes based on the bars like sliding in and out of each other. So you can make it small, you can make it large, but the I'll have to bring it out sometime. I don't use it very often because I don't have a floor stand to hold it. But yeah, like it can get really big, but it's heavy. And I had gotten it out of a magazine, a needlework magazine in the early 90s. My mom had ordered it for me. I loved that thing because you could clamp it real tight and it was not moving. And it could be really big, but it was really heavy and really awkward and really hard to take apart because you'd put like a bunch of these little things in and you'd have to like get a spoon and pop them out to move things. So it was a process to move it. But I loved it. And if I just had a floor, I don't know what you'd call that. It's like a floor stand, but it would just had clamps that held onto it. And this Able Stitcher came from, I ordered it from England when I first started getting back into stitching, and I never used it. I never opened it because it was so awkward and so heavy. Okay, now I've talked about all the weird things that I do. Okay, and then I'm going to move my needles here because nobody needs to see. I put my needles on my project, one project per needle, or 2 needles per project. I don't know why. So I am still working on, I think I'm now done my part except for the middle of the Pocket Roddy birthday stitch along. So this is Autumn is as Joyful. And I think I'm just going to finish this one, and then there's another little design here that I'm going to finish. And then once the strike is over, it's time to send it on. I have 3 things that need to be sent on. So there's this one who I think I'm sending to Megan Plexity, or she's sending to me. I'm not sure. I might be sending to Stephanie or Rachel, but I've done my quarter for mine. It's on 40 count Roxy Floss Co. I think it Speculous is the name of the fabric, and it's 40 count, so it's teeny tiny. And I just need my thing here. I really hope I don't run out of space. I always feel like I'm gonna run out of space. Um, I looked at the pattern, I checked the pattern like about 100 times. It said this size would fit, so I hope it does. So here, I really love this one. I had a really hard time putting it down, but it's no longer autumn. Well, technically it's still autumn until next Saturday. Then it's winter. But it snowed in Canada, so now it's winter. So this is Autumn is as Joyful. And I'm gonna put in the other phrase, which is autumn is a second spring where every leaf is a flower, I think it is, because I like that sentiment better. So I got my squirrels done, I got my kitty cat done. Um, there's a turkey down here somewhere. I really like this pattern. This is the second Lila Studio that I've done this year, and I think the next Flosstube I do will probably be my year-end recap, or what do you call that one? Like the fancy one that everyone does. I've got to be like everyone. I'm gonna do a whip parade. I didn't get a lot of things finished this year, but that's what happens when you're non-monogamous. Okay, so the last actual stitching that I did this year, or this term is Kidmil Felche. And I've heard this been said different ways. When I was doing Irish, when I was doing Gaeilge classes, they always said Kid Meal Felche. So Kid Meal Felche. So that's 100,000 welcomes. And the last time I finished up this bit here, and then I've moved on to the spiral thing at the bottom here. And so then I just have to finish this, and then I have to bring this up here and over, and then the yellow line over, and then there's a bunch of like kind of like this stuff at the top, but no birds. So just this woven woven plants and some berries and things at the bottom. And then it's done. And then I have to figure out how to frame it because I don't know. I bet you it would fit in a diploma frame because it's about that size. Because I want to frame this one and hang it up. So it's a goal for next year. I say that, but I'm terrible at actually actually following through on my goals. My brain goes, "Oh, you set a goal? Haha. I'm not going to do that." It's like my brain has pathological avoidance. So, what I was mostly working on this last 2 weeks was mittens. And I'm almost done my son's mittens. I was intending to do these for myself, and then actually the purple ones, the purple ones that I was doing 4 weeks whatever ago, I was intending to keep for myself, and my 12-year-old saw them, and she's like, "Oh, those are for me, right?" I'm like, "Okay." And then I started these ones and thought, well, maybe I can make these for me because my heavy jacket is blue. And then my 7-year-old saw them. So these are for Daniel. And I just need to finish the thumb on this one, which will take me about 20 minutes. And then I'm gonna crochet a dummy string to keep them in his jacket so he doesn't lose them, because they took a while. And actually, the thing that takes me the most time is this 20 rounds. 20 rounds of knit, purl, knit, purl. What do you call that? Ribbing? That takes me way longer than this whole mitten took. I finished this on Tuesday. I did this bit like all the way to the thumb. No, all the way to this part here. So right here. On Friday at work while I was waiting for a report to generate. And then while I was watching a movie last night, I did this. So it doesn't really take me very long. But now that I've knit one for my younger daughter and one for my son, I'm sure my older daughter is going to want a set. So I'm going to have to go to the needle workshop and get this, or the knitting shop, and get more of this wool, because it's got to be a special kind of wool. I have a lot of this fuzzy stuff. Like, let's see, inside the mitten, all those little hearts are made by these thrums, these little pieces of fluffy, puffy stuff, which is just roving. And so it it makes it really, really warm, because it between the skin of your hand and the mitten, the roving holds air, and then your hand warms it up and it makes it warm. So it's really good for like our climate. So I'll probably make another set, or attempt to make a set for myself or the older daughter. Um, Other than that, I've been making these, which are floss drops. My intention is, as you can see behind me, the board of doom. I have a crap ton, like a literal crap ton, of flosses that need to be put up. So I've been, when I'm on Zoom calls or something, I've been cutting 15 of these at a time out of cardstock, and then I'm just going to put in right on DMC or whatever it is. And then I'm going to figure out the numbering system here, because there's a certain number of colors, and then I just have to divide. I have, I think, 100 of them up now. I have another 100 of them that I can put up, or maybe I just have 50. Well, I have a whole bunch of hooks, and then I'm going to put them all up in numerical order so that I can find them, because I just keep buying every time I need anytime I start a new pattern. I go out and I buy all new DMCs, and I have most of them, but it's so hard to find them in. These are just a few of them on the pegboard. I have tons and tons of them in bags and in projects where I don't know if I have the one or not. So I get frustrated, and rather than look through them, I just go and get more. So maybe I could save some money. My other thing is, okay, I have three things that need to be sent on. I have my Carolyn Manning round robin that I have to send to Anna in she's in the United States. She's the only one of the four of us that's in the US. So I have to send to Anna as soon as the strike is over. My Carolyn Manning, and then I have to send Trina back her, what is that called? Second most magnificent ink circles round robin. Because I should have done it before, but if I had done it the week of the strike, it would be stuck in the mail and we wouldn't know if it was going to get through. And then Autumn is as joyful, I think I'm sending to Megan, but I'm not sure. I have to check that out. But the strike is still striking. It's been, I think, a month now almost, and I don't know if they've gotten anywhere near any kind of solution. So that means I can't order anything that isn't a PDF, and if I don't have the fabric, I I can't get the fabric because I don't have a needlework shop anywhere near me, and I can't get anything mailed to me. A lot of smaller places use USPS, which when it hits the border becomes Canada Post, so can't use that. And I just don't have the extra money for the extra cost to UPS it or Perlator, or there are some private companies that are doing some delivery, but mostly the only ones I've seen actually deliver are the ones that work for Amazon, and they're way behind. So yeah, I have a few pieces of fabric that are stuck in the mail. So I ordered from Kaylee Tent Stitch. I ordered Easy Grid because I wanted to start I'll put a picture of it. Van Gogh Never Saw Gallifrey, which is supposed to go in this bag, which I got from Jasmine's Custom Bags, which is Doctor Who themed. So that got stuck in the mail, and I ordered another piece of fabric with it that I thought would go well with, I think it was the Muse. that I want to start, another Mirabilia. Um, I have some fabric. I'm not one of those people that has a huge amount of fabric stash. I find it so hard to get a hold of fabric here that I only order what I need for a specific project. So I have a few pieces here and there of fabric that I can use, but they're not pretty by any means. I do have this that I got when I was in Winnipeg from Lizzie B, which is a smoky pearl, but I don't have anything that I think I want to stitch on that. I have some oranges that I was thinking about doing. I think it was the Raven. I wanted to do the Raven, which is a jasmine made with love pattern, but it's usually done on purple. Like the model that was done by Diddy Stitcher was done on purple, but I wanted to do it maybe on orange because I like orange. And I have two massive pieces of orange 40 count, so probably do it on orange. I have a few pieces of red, or not really red, cardinal is what it's called, but I don't know what to do with that. I'm sure I'm gonna find a pattern. Um, I but I don't have a stash of fabric like a lot of people you see on the YouTubes will have a stash of fabric from like Be Stitch Me, or um there's other places where you can get, or Fox and Rabbit has a one where you can get like a club. You can get it every month. It just, there's quite a few of them that don't deliver to Canada or don't do Canadian orders. You can order from them, but you can't be part of the club. And I don't live close enough to a border to have a mailbox across the border that I can get to. Um, I don't actually know anyone who lives close to the border whoever comes to my city. So I have some plans, but I don't know how I'm going to get the fabric right now. I, as I mentioned before, I want to do the black work one. There's two black work ones that I want to do. I wanted to do a tarot stitch. So every every day I usually draw a card, and I usually write it down in my days timer, my planner. I haven't been writing it down lately, but generally this is my 2025 day planner. So I've shown you this before, my Hobonichi, and I would probably put it in, I'll show you here. I have a spot, a running kind of habit tracker thing. So I put in here the color of the tarot card. So purple for Major Arcana, green for Pentacles, yellow for Wands. No, yellow for Swords, red for Wands, and blue for Cups. And then those would be the colors that I'd stitch in. So if I drew a Major Arcana, I would do it in a purple. And if it was reversed, I think I would put in like in the center or something. Each one of them is a flower, so in the center or somewhere on it, I would denote it by putting a black outline, and that would tell me it was a reversed one. That's what I'm thinking. And so I could see over the year how often I draw different cards. I might, this is the only part where I've actually filled it in, because this is December 2024. So I fill in my things. I've prepared my first week. the first week, so I've gotten a Happy Planner sticker of a unicorn, and this, I don't know, but it's shiny washi tape thing. So that those are the weeklies, and I tend to write down like the weather up here, when the sun rises, when the sun sets, and the phase of the moon, and then daily, like hourly tasks. You can see the Hobonichi goes from, this is 6 a.m., 5 a.m. on the top to 4 a.m. on the bottom. So it's a 24-hour. There's a, and then there's also daily pages. So this is the beginning of the month. You put in like, I don't know what. I put some stickers, and then each day has a page. And I really like this because I keep track of a lot of weird things. It's kind of like a journal and a diary and an everything. I might also find a way to track which deck I use, but I haven't figured that out yet. But I need to find fabric for that project, and it's not easy to find here. And even if I go to Edmonton this year, my husband doesn't actually want to go to any needlework stores, and I don't know if they have a needlework store. And so it's like really, really, how do I get like 32 count even weave, white even weave, when it's not available to me during a postal strike? It's always a question. So I have that one I want to do, and then they have every year the Steady Thread also has a free weekly stitch along, and so I will put up, there's different frames. I think I'm going to do like the woven one, so it's much more complicated, but because I can't get the fabric, I can't start yet. And so I'm like, it's not available at Michael's, it's not available at my local needlework store, and I don't have any in stash. So I'm kind of like, I'll find it eventually. If the strike can't last forever, I hope. If it comes, worst comes to worst, I'll have to find somewhere that I can order from. But again, it depends on, small businesses don't use the type of delivery services that would deliver to Canada during a strike. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't like, again, I don't like using Ada, so I wouldn't use Ada for it. I just don't like the way it feels on my fingers. So I want to use even weave because I found linen does not work. It's the white linen that I have available to me is way too loose. As you can see, this is what is locally available. You can see through it. This is, I think, Swagart. So it's like very, 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 very loose weave. And although it kind of works for this, I find it too loose to do a lot of things on. It's not my favorite fabric, but it's available, and so I use it. I would like to order a bunch of fabric, but once that has to wait until after the strike is over. So my goals this year are the 2 steady needle or steady thread stitch alongs, and I want to get Kid Meal Felche done. I'll probably start a bunch of things if I can get the fabric. I want to, once I get the fabric for Van Gogh Never Saw Gallifrey, I will start that one. That will be my very first time ever doing a full coverage. So that's really all I have to say today, and I'm just trying to like make it long enough. That's about it. I'll probably see you in a couple weeks when I do my, this is all the things I've worked on and all things I think about I should probably script that because I'm kind of unscripted and I'm all over the place. But whatever. It is what it is. And we're going to end now. And I don't ever know what to say, so don't stop talking about Palestine. Have yourself a Merry Christmas. Have yourself a great Yule. Happy Hanukkah, if that's a thing. I'm sure that there's a bunch of other celebrations that I am not really aware of right now that are going on at the same time this year. And so, whatever holidays and whatever you celebrate, celebrate it. Don't stop talking about equality and world peace. And I'll see you next time.